Chapter 1: A Family Struggle. In a quaint medieval European village nestled among lush forests and rolling hills, there lived a tailor named Frederick, his loving wife Eliza, and their 3 sons William, Benjamin, and young Thomas. Their small, cozy home was always filled with warmth and laughter, but times were tough. Frederick's humble tailor shop could barely provide enough for the family to make ends meet. One evening, over a meager supper of bread and cheese, Frederick decided it was time for his sons to learn trades that could help improve their situation. He looked at each of them with pride and said,
"My dear sons, our struggles have been hard, but we must persevere. It is time for each of you to learn a trade, one that can help you create a better life for yourselves and our family."
William, the eldest, was strong and responsible. He eagerly agreed to become a carpenter, hoping to craft beautiful furniture that would sell for a good price. Benjamin, the middle son, was clever and had a keen eye for detail. He decided to learn the trade of a miller, aiming to work with the grains that fed the village. Thomas, the youngest, was resourceful and kind-hearted. Although unsure of his own path, he trusted that the right opportunity would come. As time passed, the 3 brothers embarked on their individual apprenticeships. They left home one by one, each vowing to return with newfound skills and a brighter future for their family. William found a master carpenter in a nearby town, and as the months turned into years, he honed his craft, creating stunning pieces of furniture that were admired by many. His master, impressed by William's dedication and skill, decided to bestow upon him a parting gift, a magical table known as the wishing table.
"Speak the words, table, be set, and this table shall provide a bountiful feast,"
his master explained. Meanwhile, Benjamin apprenticed with an old miller, learning the secrets of grinding grain and producing flour. The miller, seeing Benjamin's talent and commitment, gifted him a wondrous donkey with the power to produce gold coins.
"When you say bricklabrit, this donkey will help you and your family find wealth beyond your wildest dreams,"
the miller told him. As for Thomas, he found an apprenticeship with a skilled turner who was also a magician. Under his tutelage, Thomas learned not only the art of turning wood but also the magic that imbued the creations with life. When the time came for Thomas to return home, his master presented him with a magic stick inside a sack.
"If ever you need to right a wrong, simply say out of the sack, 'Cudgel,' and this enchanted stick will come to your aid,"
the magicians said with a wink. With their apprenticeships complete, the 3 brothers set out to reunite and return to their family, each carrying their precious gifts and the hope of a better life for all. Chapter 2: The Gifts of Apprenticeship. As each of the 3 brothers completed their apprenticeships, they eagerly anticipated their reunion and the opportunity to share their experiences with one another. The day finally arrived when they met at a crossroads, their faces glowing with excitement.
"Brothers, I have so much to tell you."
Wilhelm exclaimed, his eyes shining.
"My master taught me the secrets of carpentry, and look what he gifted me."
He revealed the wishing table, a beautiful wooden table with intricate carvings, and explained its magical properties. Benjamin and Thomas listened in awe. Not to be outdone, Benjamin shared his own story.
"I learned the art of milling and even acquired this magical donkey."
He gestured to the gentle creature by his side.
"When I say bricklabrit, it produces gold coins from its mouth."
His brothers gasped in amazement as the donkey obediently demonstrated its unique ability. Finally, it was Thomas's turn to reveal his gift.
My master was a turner and a magician. He taught me to shape wood and use magic to bring my creations to life. As a parting gift, he gave me this enchanted stick in a sack.
Thomas held up the unassuming sack and said,
When I call, out of the sack, cudgel. It leaps out to defend me against any wrongdoing.
The brothers marveled at the stick's potential. As the sun began to set, the brothers continued their journey homeward, their hearts filled with anticipation. The path wound through dense forests and across lush meadows, the beauty of the landscape reflecting the magic that now resided within their hands. Night fell upon the village, and the three weary travelers decided to stop at Wilhelm's Inn, a welcoming establishment with warm, golden light spilling from its windows. Eager to share their stories with one another, they gathered around a table in the cozy common room. As they recounted their adventures and demonstrated their magical gifts, the other patrons of the inn watched in awe. The atmosphere in the room became charged with excitement and wonder as the wishing table conjured a sumptuous feast, the gold donkey produced glittering coins, and the magic stick responded to Thomas's command. Unbeknownst to the brothers, Wilhelm, the innkeeper, was listening intently from a darkened corner. A cunning smile spread across his face as he realized the value of the brothers' possessions. That night, as the brothers slept soundly in their beds, the wheels in Wilhelm's mind began to turn. He knew that if he could obtain the wishing table, the gold donkey, and the magic stick, his fortune would be secured, and he would never have to worry about his own livelihood again. Chapter 3: The Brothers' Journey Home. The morning sun rose, painting the sky in warm hues of orange and pink as the brothers prepared to continue their journey. With their magical gifts safely stowed, they set off towards their family home, chatting excitedly about their newfound abilities. As they walked, they encountered other travelers who marveled at the sight of the gold donkey and asked about the curious items they carried. The brothers proudly shared their stories, the sparkle in their eyes growing brighter with each retelling. Soon, the landscape began to change, and familiar landmarks appeared on the horizon. The brothers knew they were getting closer to home. As they walked, they excitedly discussed how their gifts would change the family's fortune and lift them out of poverty.
I can't wait to see Father's face when we show him the wishing table,
Wilhelm said, his voice filled with anticipation.
And Mother will be so relieved when she sees the gold donkey,
Benjamin chimed in, a smile tugging at his lips.
Thomas nodded in agreement, clutching the sack with the magic stick. We'll never have to worry about being hungry or cold again. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the brothers realized they would not make it home before nightfall. They decided to rest at Wilhelm's Inn once more, this time taking extra care to keep their magical possessions hidden from prying eyes. As they entered the inn, the warm, inviting atmosphere was a welcome relief from the chill of the night air. Wilhelm greeted them with a broad smile, seemingly having forgotten his earlier schemes. The brothers, unaware of his deceitful thoughts, gratefully accepted his hospitality. In the privacy of their room, they took turns marveling at their gifts, imagining the delight on their parents' faces when they finally shared their stories. As they drifted off to sleep, their dreams were filled with visions of a prosperous future for their family. Outside their door, Wilhelm paced the dimly lit hallway, the wheels of his cunning plan turning rapidly in his mind. As the brothers slept soundly, he made his move, stealthily entering their room and replacing the wishing table and gold donkey with ordinary replicas. With the magical items secured in his possession, he retreated to his quarters, a wicked grin on his face. The next morning the brothers awoke, blissfully unaware of the treachery that had befallen them. They gathered their belongings, thanked Wilhelm for his hospitality, and set off on the final leg of their journey home, eager to reunite with their family and share the miraculous gifts they had acquired. Chapter 4: The Innkeeper's Deceit. As the brothers continued on their journey home, Wilhelm couldn't contain his excitement. He had stolen the magical wishing table and gold donkey and replaced them with ordinary items. With a wicked grin, he examined his newly acquired treasures, eager to use them to his advantage. Meanwhile, the three brothers neared their family home, their hearts swelling with anticipation. They couldn't wait to share the gifts they'd received during their apprenticeships, unaware that they had been replaced with mundane objects. Upon arriving home, they were greeted by their overjoyed parents. Hugs and laughter filled the air as they exchanged stories and updates. The brothers eagerly brought out the wishing table and gold donkey, ready to unveil the miracles they possessed.
Father, Mother, you won't believe what we have brought for you, William announced, his voice shaking with excitement. This wishing table will ensure we never go hungry again.
Benjamin chimed in.
And the gold donkey will shower us with gold coins, so we will never have to worry about money.
The family gathered around in anticipation as Wilhelm set up the table and commanded.
Wishing table, cover yourself.
To their dismay, nothing happened. The table remained bare, with no sign of a magnificent feast. Benjamin, flustered but determined, took his turn.
Maybe it just needs a moment. Let's try the gold donkey.
He prompted the animal.
Gold donkey, shake your ears.
But once again, nothing happened. The room fell silent, disappointment weighing heavily on their hearts. Thomas, who had been watching the scene unfold, couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He suspected that their misfortune was not a result of the magical items losing their power, but rather that they had been deceived. His mind raced back to their stay at Wilhelm's Inn, and he knew they had been betrayed.
I think I know what happened.
Thomas whispered, his voice laced with anger.
It must have been Wilhelm. He must have overheard us talking about our gifts and decided to steal them, replacing them with these ordinary items.
The family listened to Thomas's theory, their eyes widening as they realized the depth of the innkeeper's deception. Determined to retrieve the stolen items and set things right, Thomas resolved to confront the deceitful innkeeper.
Father, Mother, I promise I will bring back our magical heirlooms.
Thomas vowed, gripping the sack containing the magic stick. With his family's support and a fire burning in his heart, Thomas embarked on his mission to confront Wilhelm, reclaim their magical possessions, and ensure that their family's future was secure. Chapter 5: The Unraveling of Deception. Thomas set off with determination, his heart set on retrieving the stolen magical heirlooms from the deceitful Wilhelm. He walked tirelessly through the countryside, retracing the steps he and his brothers had taken on their way home. He gripped the sack containing the magic stick tightly, knowing it would be the key to recovering the wishing table and gold donkey. Meanwhile, back at their humble home, the family anxiously awaited news from Thomas. His parents and brothers worried for his safety, but held on to the hope that he would be successful in his quest. As Thomas approached the inn, he formulated a plan to confront Wilhelm and expose his deception. He hid the sack with the magic stick behind a bush and casually strolled into the inn, feigning ignorance of the innkeeper's treachery.
Ah, young Thomas, you're back so soon.
Wilhelm greeted him, attempting to mask his guilt with a welcoming smile.
What brings you back to my humble establishment?
I couldn't shake the feeling that something went wrong with our magical items.
Thomas replied, playing along.
I wanted to ask if you noticed anything unusual while we were here.
Wilhelm feigned innocence, pretending to ponder Thomas's question.
I can't recall anything out of the ordinary, but perhaps your magical items simply lost their power.
Thomas nodded thoughtfully, pretending to accept Wilhelm's explanation.
You might be right. Nonetheless, I will stay the night and head back to my family tomorrow.
As the evening progressed, Thomas bided his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. He observed Wilhelm carefully, his eyes keenly watching for any sign of the stolen heirlooms. Finally, when night fell and the innkeeper retired to his quarters, Thomas sprang into action. He retrieved the sack with the magic stick and stealthily made his way to Wilhelm's room. As he entered, he spotted the wishing table and gold donkey hidden in a corner, confirming his suspicions. Thomas confronted the sleeping innkeeper, his voice firm yet controlled.
Wilhelm, it's time to face the consequences of your actions.
The innkeeper awoke with a start, his face drained of color as he realized he'd been caught. Thomas held the sack with the magic stick tightly, ready to take matters into his own hands if necessary.
Thomas, I can explain.
Wilhelm stammered, fear etched across his face.
No need.
Thomas replied coldly.
I know everything.
You stole our magical heirlooms and replaced them with ordinary items. But now you will face the power of my magic stick. As the tension in the room built, Wilhelm knew he had no choice but to confess and return the stolen items, hoping for mercy from the determined young man before him. The stage was set for a cunning confrontation, one that would test both Thomas's resolve and Wilhelm's cunning. Chapter 6: A Cunning Confrontation. Wilhelm's eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape from the tense situation, but there was nowhere to run. Thomas had him cornered, and the stolen magical items were evidence of his crime.
You've made a terrible mistake, Wilhelm.
Thomas scolded, the magic stick in his hand.
Now, you'll learn your lesson.
Wilhelm, trembling in fear, tried to bargain with Thomas.
Please, I beg you, don't harm me. I'll return the wishing table and gold donkey. I'll make amends. Just please, show me mercy.
But Thomas wasn't swayed by the innkeeper's desperate pleas. He knew that Wilhelm had to face the consequences of his actions. The tension in the room grew thick as Thomas prepared to command the magic stick.
Magic stick, teach this deceitful man a lesson he'll never forget.
Thomas exclaimed, his voice firm and resolute. Suddenly, the magic stick sprang to life, whirling around Wilhelm and delivering a series of sharp, stinging blows. The innkeeper yelped in pain, his face contorted with fear and regret.
Enough, please.
Wilhelm cried out, unable to bear the punishment any longer.
I promise I'll return the magical items and never deceive anyone again.
Thomas, satisfied that Wilhelm had learned his lesson, commanded the magic stick to stop.
Magic stick, cease your punishment.
The magic stick immediately stopped, hovering in midair before returning to Thomas's outstretched hand. Wilhelm, still trembling, rushed to retrieve the wishing table and gold donkey, offering them to Thomas with trembling hands.
I'm truly sorry.
Wilhelm stammered, his eyes filled with remorse.
I let greed get the better of me, and I'm ashamed of what I've done.
Thomas regarded the contrite innkeeper with a mixture of pity and sternness.
Let this be a lesson to you, Wilhelm. Honesty and integrity are far more valuable than any magical item.
With the wishing table and gold donkey in his possession, Thomas prepared to leave the inn and return to his family. As he walked towards the door, Wilhelm called out to him one last time.
Thomas, I can't change the past, but I promise to live a better life from now on.
Wilhelm vowed, his voice sincere.
I hope you keep that promise.
Thomas replied, a hint of forgiveness in his eyes.
Remember the lesson the magic stick taught you.
As Thomas walked out of the inn, his heart swelled with pride and determination. He had stood up to the deceitful Wilhelm, reclaimed the stolen heirlooms, and taught the innkeeper a valuable lesson. Now he could finally return home and reunite his family, their future brighter than ever before.